alley south of the Royal Mile. It had 19 enormous arches, and this one is the only one visible from outside. This cross-section shows just how many rooms was within the bridge itself, where community used to thrive. The underground vaults were eventually abandoned by the 1830s and left closed until 1994, when they were reopened to the public. A number of the relics that were found down there in the dark are now currently on display in the museum. I'll leave you with a guide who took us on one of the tours.
And if at any point I tell you to move, you move. I don't want anybody getting hurt down here tonight. We've never at any point had anybody hospitalised down here. You are relatively safe. Okay. Before I actually forget, you have the privilege of being the last group down here tonight, which means that as we progress through these rooms, the last person to leave each room has to blow out the candles within that room. Well, what I would like someone to do just now, before I actually go on, I think we'll just walk past the first candle that has to be snuffed out. If somebody wouldn't mind just heading back down that little corridor, I'm going to give you a little bit of a history behind this place, because the history is very important. As we walk goes on today, the history is what you might say is haunting the place now. We are right now technically inside Edinburgh's South Bridge. Edinburgh's very first shopping street opened up in 1788.
Before we, two of them outright aggressive, and by far the worst one is Mr. Boots. So called down to his appearance. Heavy stubble, pockmarked skin, beady eyes, some say no eyes, long black lank greying hair, a blue military overcoat not unlike mine, long boots, high, thigh-high black leather cavalry boots. You okay? Mr. Boots' trademark feature is the black cavalry boots, and it's normally his footsteps that are heard pacing these rooms. But, now he may punch, he may slap, he may scratch, he's quite intelligent. He's apparently down here because he's trying to protect what he calls his treasure, his truth, his secret. And if anyone gets too close to his truth, he'll start to lash out. His attacks mainly happen in the White Room, aka Mr. Boots' room, a room too small for a group this size to fit into, sadly. We'll walk past it towards the end of the little jaunt around here, and apparently that room is what he's trying to protect. First time he appeared back in 1996, very subtle. He seems to have figured out that a punch and a slap goes a long way, but often all it takes to make someone leave the vaults is breathe on the back of someone's neck, and if that person panics, the whole group will follow him out of the vaults, no questions asked. The first time he appeared, woman right at the back of the White Room, I can see her looking a little bit, we'll say bored, looking around behind her, not paying attention. She screams, bolts, group and toe. She's caught Cam's question. She said that she's felt what appeared to be a cold, icy draft on the back of her neck, stepped out of it, as she should do. But the draft, it became quite rhythmic. It was drawing back and blowing forwards, drawing back and blowing forward. That's breathing, she thinks, and looks back behind the brick wall. As this breathing moves to her left ear, back and forth, she can hear it. A very faint, heavy, sleazy, right up close to her earlobe, starts to scan around her face. She smells a full whiskey-laced breath, stops at her right ear. And when it gets to her right ear, she hears a pattern change. She hears a whisper, a voice. Two barely audible words. Get out. Get out. Get out! And she did, followed by half the group. If you ever panic and have to flee, come back here. It should be a safe haven for you. We can't guarantee that, but it should be a safe haven. So we're going to move around again. Are you keeping in mind the candles for me?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, this is a typical small vault where numbers of parts. We don't really know from this. We know that some of the vaults were used as white vaults. But right from the start, people got very spooked here. I'm talking about ghosts now. If you look up a dictionary definition of a ghost, it will say, in the English language dictionary, it usually says a disembodied spirit. So that's one of the theories, that in fact, ghosts are what you see of departed people who are either coming back to where they died tragically, or in a horrible way, or to somewhere where they're actually buried. So they're revisiting their own grave. And of course, we know that because these vaults have criminal in them for a number of years, it's not. And as soon as they got a reputation for being haunted, naturally enough, people interested in the paranormal, psychics, people like that, started coming on tours. Didn't always tell us they were coming, but they would come on tour. To a person. This is the EMF recorder. Now, what happens? If it picks up anything, the first thing that happens is you hear a clicking sound. Then what happens is this gauge on the front lights up, and the needle, there is a needle there, believe me, moves across. Then you get an audible sound. And the audible sound depends on the level of activity. Now, our experience the last few weeks says you can come in here, nothing happens. But at some point, as I start walking around, this around is moving. It's coming and going. So whatever the target is actually moving around at the moment, and it's really woken up now. Come on. Now, the point I want to make about this is that we're not near any electric cables at the moment. We're right in the room. It will just fire off like that. And it's very active at the moment.
It's really cool over here, man.
Yeah. What was that?
I have to put down.
Can you just move around there, man? Yeah, it's alright here. So it's. One of the things that we have down here are things called vaults vigils. Now, what they are is people who are paranormal investigators who come down here all night. So we make the vaults available for usually during the Edinburgh Ghost Festival, which is in May. We usually make the vaults available from 10 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning. Because we're about to go into the White Room, which is the room next to us. Now this is the place where you get some of the most active effects of all. I have to say that things are fairly active this evening. Whatever is going on, and we don't know what the explanation is. But then it went away again, so they relaxed. But then it came back again. And of course they realised to their horror that it was as if somebody was breathing on the side of their face. And then this breath seemed to move round to their ear. And it was at that point they heard a murmuring sound. It was a murmuring sound to start with, but then it got clearer, deeper. They realised it was a voice. And it was just saying two words, of course. The words you heard earlier. Now, did you all hear it? Did everybody hear that third get out? That's the clue. You see, on the night in question, the only person that heard it.
The Blair Street Vaults was interesting, but Mr. Boots didn't show up. And nothing else happened really either. So, saying that, bye bye.